Hello, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So, you're Stephanie of Metal Yoga with Stephanie, and I wanted to ask a little bit about yourself and your business.
So, of course, you just introduced me. I'm Stephanie. I do metal yoga in Portland. There are a couple different versions of metal yoga. I do one that encompasses all types of music, from thrash metal to death metal to sometimes power metal, heavy metal, and some classic stuff. I like to incorporate everything. I'm definitely more high energy, motivation, like kick your ass kind of mentality. So mine's definitely got a lot more energy behind it, and it's a lot less serious, and just it's a good workout, good way to breathe, be in the moment without being too yoga-y, if that's even a word. And I do sessions every single week. I do them every Sunday. And I will also be doing a free session for all new people at the first Sunday of every month. So just the whatever first Sunday that it falls on would be free to anyone that's new. All you gotta do is just show up and let me know that you're in because you're a new student and you just want to check it out. You're totally down to see what it's all about.
Yeah, so what was it that got you into yoga? And then also, what inspired you to mix heavy metal with yoga?
All very good questions. And it's funny that you ask that because your wife is actually the one that told me I needed to go yoga.
Oh, right, yes, she's told me that before.
Yeah.
But she didn't tell you to do metal yoga. That was your idea.
No, yeah. No, she actually suggested, hey, you should go do hatha yoga with me, or Bikram or something like that. And so we did like a hot yoga Bikram. And at first, when she told me about it, I thought that shit was for pussies, honestly. Like, I was in that mindset, like, that's absolute bullshit. Yoga is not hard enough. I need something that's going to make me stronger. That was my release from shit, was music and working out, because I was able to use those endorphins as a different kind of release from, instead of crying all the time, which I did a lot when I was younger, music and yoga were a lot more of that release that I needed. And then I quickly figured out that after I started doing yoga, I was doing it more and more, realized I was doing it like 5 days a week. I noticed I lost a little bit of weight, and I noticed I didn't feel as like jumpy and on edge, because at that time, this was right after my mom had died. And I was like drinking all the time, every single fucking day. I did not know how to handle anything. I literally was like, fuck the world, fuck everything, and fuck you. And so when she told me about yoga, that was my mindset at the time. So I'm glad that I got into it. Fast forward about 6 or 7 years. I think I started doing yoga in about 2012. 6 months after I had my first session, I ended up going to my first yoga training. Barely passed that. 2 car accidents within 2 weeks of each other, right towards the time that I was supposed to do my test and graduate. I somehow magically passed that. I'm glad I did.
Yes, good. That sounds like it was bad luck, but it sounds like it had bad luck going for you, but you managed to pull through. So that's awesome.
That's all you can do, man. So I was like, I got this far. I need to do this, and I think they felt bad, and they passed me. I think I passed with like a C, like just barely, like maybe 2 points away from failing. And then but since I had the car accidents, I didn't do yoga for a while because I felt broken. I felt like if I were to go do hot yoga again, just this hard physical movements I thought would fuck up my back, because I had really bad whiplash and stuff, and I was going through physical therapy, and it was just a really bad time. There was a lot of stuff going on that year. That was my woe is me year. Everyone hates me. My life sucks year. Everyone has those years. But that was the heavy year. I ended up getting into a different kind of yoga, shied away from that. This lady, she does core strength vinyasa yoga. She is like, I went through all these yoga videos, and I was like, I need this again. I need to move. I feel stiff, and I feel just, and just antsy. And so I started doing it again, and I found through all these yoga videos, every single one was boring, the music sucks, flutes and shit, I don't want that. Like, I'm not into the whole, like, new age, new world kind of music. It's just not, it's never really been my thing.
Right, yeah.
And so I ended up coming across this lady with a red mohawk that's, like, a little bit older, but she's like, I like Journey, I like AC/DC, I like all these, like, old rock bands, and she, like, was cussing and shit in her video, and I was like, because of that, I started doing it, and because of that movement, I got stronger so much faster than the other one, and I learned where I was pushing too hard and not breathing. And then, again, fast forward, she allowed me to be a master teacher for her, and so I teach in the vein of that style of yoga, but I don't really necessarily call my class by that. I got into metal yoga because I had taught for a little while and realized I felt like I was playing it safe and trying to do what all the yoga studios wanted me to do. And that was, I had a yoga studio say that a student complained that there were too many guitar riffs. And I think that was my time when I realized that I needed to do a little bit more. So I started changing names, and I called it Rebel Spirit, Rebel Union, you name it, anything that had to do with, like, being against the grain, I called it that.
Right.
And eventually I land on metal yoga. Someone said, you should do metal yoga, you should just call it what it is. It's simple and to the point. So that's why I do call it now metal yoga, and it's evolved over time. I've strayed away from playing it safe and being afraid of using cuss words and other things that a lot of yoga studios would think as being taboo.
Right,
and
yeah.
said, fuck that. I'm not going to do that because that's not me, and people can tell that's not me. So I'm done with that, and that's why I rent space and really do things on my own.
Yeah, metal is all about raw energy anyway, so you want it to be a visceral sort of, like, good energy still, but metalheads like that kind of stuff, so it's uplifting for them, and it's probably kind of considered out of the norm for regular people who aren't into heavy metal, who don't quite get it. But that's what's perfect about metal yoga with you, is that you get it, so anybody who's going to your yoga studio, that they would feel like this is home for them, you know?
Yeah, I just want everyone to feel like they belong, that they don't have to be like anyone or anything. They don't have to have a yoga body necessarily, like what you see on Instagram.
Yeah, but that's true what you were saying before, like you had said yourself that you're not into the flutes and stuff like that, or the peaceful, like, yoga music that they use for meditation and things. So a lot of people aren't into that, and they're not going to be attracted to something that could be really good for them if they're not going to feel like they are a part of it in the right way, you know? So if you have the right energy going on, you could really get into it with heavy metal music for metalheads. So I totally hear what you're saying. So that is actually really cool that there's someone like you out there.
It's a hard road, I'll tell you that. Trying to pave my way in a place where I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And sometimes I feel like I need to bang my head on the wall because I'm like, am I doing something wrong? I'm being myself. Is there something missing? I'm not a business person in the least bit. So that's definitely been a challenge of trying to get this out there. So, but like I had said earlier, all new people, first Sunday of every month, come for free. Just drop in, join it. Doesn't matter what the fuck experience you have. Just a passion to want to be yourself and be different, and maybe like some heavy tunes along the way. That's all you need as a prerequisite.
Yeah, well, not only that, but you're going to be meeting a lot of other cool, like-minded folks, like, you know, other metalheads. So you can go.
People that aren't afraid to be a little offensive.
Yeah, you know, and metalheads always get along with other metalheads, so, you know, it's a good place to hang out. So I wanted to ask you, though, I did see that you recently went to a concert. What was that?
That was last night. It was Lord Gore, Laceration, Iron Scepter. I think I'm saying that.
Oh, you know, it's crazy you mentioned Lord Gore. I think I was just talking about that band with somebody the other day. I can't remember. I think I was talking to Mike about it, but I think he says he knows the guitarist from that band.
Yeah,
Where did you see them? What venue?
It was at Twilight.
Oh wow, yeah, I have to write that place down. I've never been there. How is
Really,
it?
I've been there. The last show I went to, I saw Spawn. It's been a while since I've been to a show before that one. But I saw Spawn at Twilight. It's the one that has the. I don't know if you've probably seen some videos online of bands. It's the circle on the background of the stage. That's Twilight.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I know you know.
Yes. I've seen that place before.
Laceration kicks ass, by the way. I'm so glad I took video of them. Very, very cool. They're from California. And what's funny is actually my roommate and my boyfriend are actually talking about going to the California Death Fest this year.
Oh, yeah.
Like we might be making plans to go. So that should be really fun to do something and say fuck work for like a week.
Yeah, seriously, no way. Those things are way fun. I love metal festivals, and it's so lame that our country doesn't have that many of them. I mean, they do stuff, but it's like, like for example, that the Summer of Slaughter tour is always kind of cool. A nice like whole day of listening to metal. They used to do Ozfest, and I don't think they do that anymore.
No, I've been to Ozfest way back in the day, back when Monster put out free tickets.
I went to Ozfest in 2004, and it was, to this day, one of the most memorable metal concerts I've ever been to. So many awesome bands, great memories and experiences, funny stories that I have with friends. It's it's so many good things. That is worth every penny spent if your boyfriend and your roommate are going to go to that death metal fest in California for sure.
And what's funny you say that as just like a side note, yeah, I went to Maryland Death Fest and that was awesome. That was probably my show for me. I forget the name. It was I think it's like a Spaniard band. I'm saying that right. I want to say Avulsed, but I might be saying it wrong. But there was one of the bands there that we actually hung out with, and the only time that they were like, "You want to do coke?" So like those couple days, I did merch for Blood Freak back when my boyfriend was in their band, and it's interesting how bands change all the time. But yeah, and I did merch for them, and I remember talking to so many cool people from all over the world that came there, and to tell me like their story and or how they know about the band and stuff like that. And the place was so packed. It was so much fun. Like, serious day drinking, just like not really worrying about anything, just, no structure, like just kind of letting loose, which is, we tend to forget. We always think busy, work, don't have fun because I don't have money to do fun, and I think we all get trapped into that. But yeah, sorry, that was a side note.
No, that's fine. It's those kinds of experiences that stick with you for sure, and it makes you want to go back again another year if they ever do it again. And then you see cool bands too that you wouldn't normally see a lot of times too. So when they come around, you definitely want to like go visit and see them. But
just another super quick side note, sure. I've been noticing that a lot of shows, they don't actually put not all. Some shows I've been noticing where if it's like a festival, sometimes they're not putting the same type of bands together. So there's kind of like sporadic metal, which is the only real big like pet peeve of mine. It's like, I think I didn't go to, I kind of lost interest in Maryland for a while because I noticed a lot of the bands were all different. They weren't actually death metal. And that's the whole point of Death Fest, is to be death metal.
Yeah, no.
That was a public pet peeve of mine. But
I've been talking about it with a lot of different people about the Summer of Slaughter and how over the years it's just changed into something completely different. And now they're getting tickets sold, I'm sure, but a lot of other people aren't going to that anymore. I was just talking about, actually, believe it or not, a couple years ago I saw Cannibal Corpse at Summer of Slaughter, and I think them and maybe one other band, I think Goat Whore was there, but aside from those two bands, it was like basically everything else was metalcore, and so you kind of had to like. I really wanted to see Cannibal Corpse, so I was like, well, I'll just go and make the most of it. There's going to be people I know there, so at least I can hang out with them. But I'm not really into metalcore myself.
Yeah.
But have you, by chance, had a moment to see or hear anything about Cannibal Corpse in the news? Have you heard about their guitarist?
Yeah, actually, I looked up a couple different things. I've seen a lot of Morbid Angels really doing a lot of different things, and Cannibal Corpse too. And I know that the Cannibal Corpse is going to be, obviously going to be touring with Morbid Angel,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually the first time ever that they're going to be touring together. Morbid Angel and Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's kind of funny, considering they come from the same state. I thought they would have done stuff together by now.
Yeah, I know, right? I thought that was weird, too.
Yeah, there's this whole story in the news that happened maybe about a month ago where the guitarist...
Yeah. Something about, he, allegedly was, stabbed a police, and there's, guns in his house and shit like that, or whatever.
Yeah, it's a really weird story. He didn't actually stab anybody, I don't think, but he,
it was, they kind of...
From what I understand, he went over to some neighbor's house and, freaked him out, so they called the cops. They show up. He runs at the police with a knife, but they tase him and arrest him. As he's being arrested, at the same time at his house, there's a fire and his whole house burns down. So he loses everything he owns, and he's having some sort of anxiety attack or mental breakdown of some kind. Now, originally I thought it might have been drug related. However, I've heard, and I'm not 100% sure about this, but I've heard people say that they've done a drug test on him and he was 100% clean, so it must have been a snap of some kind. But he is being treated. The band released a statement that said that he was being treated, and they're just hoping that he goes okay. And all the support from the fans that we can get is is probably what he needs right now.
Yeah, I saw that they're what they released on their Facebook page. I mean, it's hard to say. A lot of stories are always misconstrued, misunderstood, and written in a way, differently, kind of like the news is.
Mm-hmm.
Written differently, so that way you only see certain parts of it. So, it's hard to say exactly what happened, but they did say, regardless of what's going on, he's getting the help he needs, and we're still going to be doing all shows as planned.
Right, and you know what? I had heard that the news, there's some news, or I'm not 100% sure if this is still solid, but I've heard that Cannibal Corpse and Slayer will be doing a tour together. So This happened right when that kind of started going out, that information. So it's like, oh man, this really sucks that the guitarist is going through this right now because he's going to miss out on that tour. Plus this tour with Morbid Angel. But I did recently hear that Cannibal Corpse replaced their guitarist.
With Eric Britton?
Yes. That's going to be freaking sweet to see him play. So it's kind of a bad thing that Pat O'Brien's not going to be there, but on the other hand, it's kind of a treat to get to see Eric play. So we'll see what he does on stage. That'll be kind of cool. Because I've seen Cannibal Corpse with Pat O'Brien, and of course they're always really cool and fun. But let's see if what Eric does on his guitars.
It's always interesting when you hear about people filling in for other people. Because I practice drums right now, and just I've talked to a couple people about how they learn all their music so quickly, or learn a bunch of covers or fill in for someone on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they don't have very long, and they have to be as precise and concise as they can. So sometimes they don't even have a chance to memorize the song. They literally will use a guide and, listen to it over and over, stuff like that. But, so it's always interesting when someone else covers for someone else. If something happens like this, or they're sick, or, they have a health condition, to see that person fill in their shoes.
Right.
It's so cool. Like, because that takes a lot of courage and a lot of determination to fill shoes like that.
The thing that's one thing that I get a lot of crap for is I wear earplugs to concerts, and some people don't like that, and they're like, "Oh man, you shouldn't, what are you, a wuss?" And I'm like, "No, first of all, whatever you want to do is your thing. So if you don't want to wear earplugs, then fine, no problem. But I do, because I actually like to hear all the notes being played, and what I'll frequently do is when I'm watching a band perform on stage, I want to actually hear, are they doing the album exactly note for note? Or are they adding a little live action flavor to it, like something that they're going to do with the solo, make it sound a little different? And I've seen bands who have like replacement guitarists, and unfortunately I've seen them completely flub and flop on these solos, because they're like you said, they're just coming into the act and they're just sort of picking it up and going, and you can definitely tell when it's live and everything's going, and then they start doing the solo and you're like, ooh, that sounded that didn't sound very good, but they're doing the best they can. Say again?
You said you wear earplugs so you're able to hear it more?
Oh yeah, I can hear a lot more with the earplugs on.
I didn't think about that. I've never worn earplugs to a show. I probably should. I have thought about that.
It's way more intense when you take them out and you're like in the music, and it's way more powerful, that's for sure. But with the earplugs in, I can hear the notes way more clear.
Well, because it's like, recording something and it's peeking out. Their ears are essentially peeking out, especially if you're anything like me, and if it's a band you really want to see, or they're new and they sound fucking awesome, you want to be in it. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like off in the back twiddling your thumbs, unless it's a band that you're like, oh, they're cool, but I'm not super into them, If you're like me, you're usually up front. I'm like 4'11", so I want to see it.
Yeah.
Not hide and retell people, so that's a smart idea.
Well, the thing is like, there's some solos that I know these artists do in the album that they're not necessarily able to do in a live concert. Some of them are just so incredibly far out, they're just impossible to replicate. But I've heard albums where I'm like, listening, I'm like, there's no way this guy's going to nail it. And then, of course, when I'm seeing them live and I'm listening, I'm like, that was insane. He actually did that solo, and it was perfect. So, for me, I get entertainment out of that, because I'm impressed by how talented some of these people are.
But, man.
So, you mentioned that you had seen the Cannibal Corpse music video.
I have not.
The new one is called, I think it's called like the Code of Slashers or something, and it's totally crazy cool. It's like they're going around in a van called the Cannibal Corps, instead of it being like corpse, it's like corporation, and these two guys with knives are chasing down these people and killing them. It's obviously it's Cannibal Corpse, so it's brutal. It's like watching a horror movie. So it's it's really cool. I thought it was well done.
That's awesome.
I guess that this new album, Red Before Black, has something to do with some dream that the guy had about being killed with a knife. So this music video, I think, captured that pretty well. It kind of reminded me a bit of the album art. But with Morbid Angel, I've heard mixed messages about their new album. People are saying that it's I've heard some people say it's like right in the middle of the road death metal, so you're gonna get what you want, but it's not anything that's blowing your mind. So
I've heard that too.
I've in my opinion though, because I did listen to several of the good tracks. I haven't listened to it front to back yet, but I looked at the length of it, and it looks like it's sort of long. I think 30 minutes, around there, 35 minutes is right where you want to be with death metal. So like if you're going into 45 minutes, it's like, okay, well, unless you have a couple extra bonus tracks, the album should be within 30 to 35 minutes, I think. That's just my opinion, though. But it sounds pretty cool. I definitely like the music video they have for it. It was this weird melty demon guy in space who looks like he's dropping off human beings from his spacecraft on the planet Earth.
Type of shit.
Yeah, it was totally crazy. It looked really creepy, but I was trying to figure out if this is supposed to suggest that the aliens started the human race or something. I'm trying to figure it out. So I don't know.
Leaves you to wonder.
Yeah. But I did see that I think they have a new. I think they were saying that the guy who was originally in the band from like 2 albums ago is with them again this time. So.
Or Mirren.
Yes.
Yeah, he actually he was with them from 2008 to 2015, and what's interesting. I found out that he actually is in a Norwegian metal band called Merkskog.
Oh, cool.
I haven't heard that name in a long time, and it's interesting because Merkskog is a band I came across years ago, like I think back in MySpace days.
Okay.
Back when I was listening to a lot more black metal, but it's definitely worth checking out. That's one of his, other bands that he's a part of.
Oh, right on. Hell yeah. Yeah, so the other 2 bands that are going to be at the Decibel Tour was Necrot and Blood Incantation. And you had said that Necrot was from, like, San Francisco Bay Area?
Yeah, from the Bay Area. And Incantation was from Denver.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. All right, killer. So it's going to be sort of a West Coast, East Coast thing going on. I haven't listened to Necrot or Blood Incantation. I think I saw a music video for Blood Incantation and watched that.
I think I might have seen one too. By the way, also, I was looking up what Morbid Angel will be playing when they actually will be on tour at Decibel, and they're actually supposed to be doing the entirety. Their take on it is that they're going to cover the entirety of all their years of kicking ass. So I'm assuming that it's supposed to be, over the time frame of their discography.
Okay.
So anyone that's wanting to hear some older stuff, it sounds like they're going to be playing, from all their albums.
That's actually really good because their new album is pretty good and all, but they had actually already toured the country for this album. So I was actually wondering if they were going to just sort of continue promoting the album this tour, but it sounds like you're saying they're going to do a little bit of everything. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And there was another person. So I told you about the, what was it? Oh, that's right. That was Cannibal Corpse. Yeah. Steven Tucker is supposed to be making his debut. When he did Formulas Fatal to the Flesh and Gateways to Annihilation and Heretic,
Mm-hmm.
He returned to the band a couple years back, 2015. And it's cool, like, just searching, more information about both of the bands. It's interesting to find how much Morbid Angel is really still trying to evolve.
Right.
Like they're making pretty good effort, and it sounds like they're trying to get some of their old lineups back, or at least get some of that vibe going on. So that's cool.
Yeah, I definitely think they're making waves, that's for sure. And that's actually kind of a good thing because it looks like they're going to start making music on a regular basis and not taking long breaks. So that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
The other thing, the new Morbid Angel album, I did have some pretty cool songs. I did like the Dead song. Apparently is supposed to be something related to BattleBots. The guy was saying that that the show, I guess he was a fan of the show, so he wanted it to sound sort of robotic. And I kind of, once I read that, I kind of picked up on it. I'm like, yeah, it kind of does the way the guitars sound. It does kind of sound like machines somehow. So I'll be interested in seeing it live. I think it'll be kind of cool to be in the crowd at this concert, and it's going to be at the Roseland Theater too. So I'm sure it's going to be a packed house. Yeah,
I'm glad it's at Roseland and not like Hawthorne or something.
Right, totally hear you on that.
Have a decent size. Like if these two bands are going to be there, there's probably going to be a lot of fucking people there. They definitely need more space and
more stage for the bands so they can actually perform. Well, anyway, is there any... Oh, I wanted to ask you before we go, will you please let everyone know how to find you on the internet with your handles, please?
Okay. So I try and keep it as simple as I can. I have Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Easiest way, first off, if you don't want to sit and listen to every single one of them because there's so many social platforms nowadays. If you type in Metal Yoga with Steph into Google, you will easily find me. I am this bright-headed, haired metalhead, and I'm pretty obvious to find. But if you want the specifics, Twitter, I'm Metal Yoga Steph. YouTube, Metal Yoga with Stephanie Newkirk. Facebook is Metal Yoga with Stephanie, or I usually suggest people just add my personal profile. It's not really that personal anymore, but it's Facebook. Well, doesn't algorithm my stuff as much as on my page. So my name is Stephanie Newkirk on that one, and Instagram is Metal Yoga with Steph. This is a mouthful.
That's cool. All right, excellent. Fantastic. Well, we will be having to do another call here pretty soon and catch up and talk about metal again.
Yeah, sounds awesome, man.
All right, I'll catch you later. Have a good night.
You as well. Thanks, man.
Bye for now. Okay, these are the bands that are coming to Portland, Oregon from now until the end of March, and there has been some lineup changes, so pay close attention. Thursday, January 31st, Corrosion of Conformity with Crowbar at the Hawthorne Theater. Saturday, February 2nd, Proven and Kingdom Under Fire at the Hawthorne Theater. Wednesday, February 13th, Born of Osiris and Chelsea Grin at the Hawthorne Theater. Friday, February 22nd, Wear Squatch and Saboteur at the High Watermark Lounge. Sunday, February 24th, Soulfly and No Longer Cataclysm. Instead, there will be Unearth due to a scheduling issue at the Bassanova Ballroom. Monday, February 25th, the Decibel Tour featuring Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel. Immolation will not be performing at the Roseland Theater. Monday, March 11th, Cradle of Filth at the Crystal Ballroom. Thursday, March 14th, Within Temptation with In Flames at the Roseland Theater. Monday, March 25th, Veil of Maya and the Intervals at the Hawthorne Theater. Sunday, March 30th, Children of Bodom and Swallow the Sun at the Hawthorne Theater. That's the bands that are going to be coming to Portland, Oregon from now until the end of March. I recommend you check them out.